YouTube channel, LegitStreetCars, and I'd like to thank each and every one of you for joining us today. I'd like to introduce our rebuilders today with Rich from Rich Rebuilds. Hello, Rich, whenever you're ready.
Howdy. What's up, Alex?
Hello, Rich. And I'd also like to invite Sam from the channel Samcrac.
What the hell is that?
That's our official. All right, we have a lot to cover tonight, so let's get right into it with some ground rules. You'll have 2 minutes to answer each question, and since I can't cut your mics if you go over, you'll be getting a warning from a familiar voice. Now, neither Sam or Rich have been prepped in any way, shape, or form, and I highly doubt we will be friends after this debate. So if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel because you might not ever see me with these guys again. So let's get right into it. And the first question is going to go to Sam. Sam, on January 16th, 2019, you released a video titled, "Can a $5,000 fire salvage Hellcat really be rebuilt?" Now, really was in all caps for some weird reason. And the video focused on 5 Hellcats that at the time were being rebuilt. Now, you mostly focused on one of those, and that was a burnt Challenger owned by DIY Gang, and you gave him a 1 out of 10 in your rebuilder score, and then shortly after you gave V-Tune's Hellcat a 4 out of 10.
Wow.
A few months later, V-Tuned basically rebuilt about 75% of your fleet. My question is, do you give DIY Gang, who did indeed finish his project on his own, any credit, and do you owe him an apology right here today?
Damn.
2 minutes. Alex, I'd like to thank you for hosting this debate on my channel. Really appreciate it. And I would like to just tell everybody that, yes, I absolutely stand by my score of a 1 out of 10. First of all, I think your assessment of 75% of my fleet is inaccurate quite a bit, especially when my debate opponent here has a staff on hand rebuilding his actively all the time, and I'm pretty much a one-man show. So I stand by the 1.
Respond directly to my question, please.
I stand by the 1 out of 10 rating, specifically because this was not a real rebuild. If you go back and look at how things were, and you can't because all the videos that were on the channel are no longer there, but basically this was cobbled together out of another car, and it's also very questionable as the VIN status of the car, the rebuild status of the car. This was not taking a crash car, fixing a flood car, fixing it, a fire damage car and fixing it. This was simply it was taking another crash car that was not the original car that was intended to be rebuilt.
Tim, I've checked with my fact checkers, and indeed, yes, the purple Hellcat is on his channel as we speak as a completed project.
Yes, and that's fair enough. He can identify that car as a completed project if he wants to, but I would not personally. If that was my car, I would not identify it as a completed rebuild, given what it was presented as before.
Okay, so on the record, you are not willing to apologize nor give credit to DIY Gang who
no apologies. And I will also stand by and say that if you listen to my final words, everything I said is about as accurate as possible how that rebuild went. It's very straightforward. I said you won't be able to do it without the shell of another car. It was done with the shell of another car. So indeed,
yeah, your time is up.
way over. Please don't do that again.
That's
Rich, the next question is for you.
Oh, God.
On YouTube, you're pretty well known as the Tesla rebuilder.
Mm-hmm.
Your channel has grown to over 800,000 subscribers. Many of those early adopters, so to speak, subscribed for your Tesla content.
Yeah.
But your channel that's been around for 4 years now has only completed 2 Tesla rebuilds.
Next question, please.
Being as how the name rebuild is literally in your channel name, do you feel you owe the Tesla viewers more?
I'm just going to correct you. This is the only completed one Tesla rebuild, but go ahead.
Or, as
Just
someone
one.
has told you, are you really just 2 and done?
All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Number one, thank you, Alex, for hosting this on Sam's channel. Okay. I'm going to fill in some time like Sam did. I want to let you know that I have rebuilt multiple vehicles, but not all of them were on the channel. All right. The first car I did was Dolores, the one I drive every day. Well, my daughter drives it now. And number 2 was the flooded Model X that I rebuilt as well, that I didn't really talk about because I don't really like the car in the first place. And number 3, what I did for the community was I started a company called the Electrified Garage, okay? And they, in turn, rebuild hundreds upon hundreds of cars that come into the shop. That is me giving back and then to the Tesla community. So I would say that I still do that, yes. I do not think in any way, shape, or form that I have done any disservice to the Tesla community.
That was not the question.
Okay.
The question was clearly,
okay,
are you going to rebuild more Teslas on your channel? What's done at a shop is neither here nor there.
I think I will probably not be rebuilding any. Actually, no, that's not true. I probably have one more Tesla build left on the channel.
One more.
And the reason why I don't really do Tesla stuff as much anymore is because A, it's kind of stale. B, they only make like 4 cars. And once you rebuild an S and an X and a 3, there's really not much else. So, I mean, if people want to see,
would it be a fair statement to your Tesla viewers that there may not be any more Tesla content on your channel?
There will be, yes. I will have at least one more Tesla build on the channel.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, my next question will be for Sam. And if you guys need a break, please let me know.
Sam needs a break.
No breaks over here, buddy.
On June 19th, 2000.
Your assistant on break right now, Rich? Your assistant? Go ahead. No.
Excuse me, gentlemen. I'm the moderator here. Please.
Yep.
It's my time. On June 19th, 2019, Sam, you released a video on a green Ferrari in which you replaced a section of the floor with a sheet of aluminum from a store and some panel bond glue. On April 15th of the same year, you had someone weld a frame on an Audi R8. Now, both of these methods would not be considered proper by any stretch of the imagination. What some folks have said is that you're using your platform to spread improper repair techniques. What do you say to those who think that?
Well, Alex, I didn't know that I was actually debating 2 people here. So I would start by saying that, first of all, the 2 repairs were done very differently for different reasons. The weld on the Audi R8 was done by the strut tower, where it's very isolated, even though it's right by the windshield, which I happen to smash with a hammer. But showing all of this shows that I'm human. I make mistakes. I don't cover things up and make a fake video kind of like some other people on YouTube. You know, I'm doing this the wrong way. I meant to go this way here, right there. Wait to the next guy.
Hold on a minute.
But anyway, I also did use a panel bond epoxy, something that is completely misunderstood by people like you who just wrench underneath the engine of cars and don't actually touch panels and just take their cars to the body shop.
Oh, wow.
Epoxy is a 2-part glue that, if used correctly, is just as strong as a weld, at least according to 3M, who manufactures it. And I used it on the Ferrari because it was around quite a few electrical, cooling, and fuel lines. So if you want to weld in those areas, you can. You just got to remove all of those lines. And for the sake of this damage, which was fairly minimal, not really structural, I felt it to be totally appropriate. Now, for the people that believe I'm spreading misinformation on how to repair cars, you can really repair a car any way you want. Have you ever seen a car driving next to you that is literally falling apart? Maybe it's got one of those old vinyl tops. Maybe the exhaust is hanging on the ground. None of that stuff might be safe for the person driving it, or maybe even the person next to you. But I don't see you pointing out the window and wagging your finger at that person. You just do it.
Well, the window isn't exactly the frame or the floor. Okay, so let's not.
But dragging an exhaust pipe, Alex, that could create sparks.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, I'm telling you that there are much more improperly repaired cars on the road than there are in my garage.
Okay, so your official statement would be 2 wrongs in this case do make a right.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Rich, would you like to respond on Sam's repair techniques? What do you think of Sam's repair techniques on his channel?
That's a very good question. The floor on the Ferrari, okay, I will admit, replacing the entire floor pan of a Ferrari would lead to a cost that's greater than most people are willing to spend to repair that vehicle. So I do understand him cutting it out and replacing it with a bonding agent. So I do understand that. Would I have done that and recorded it? Probably not. But I think
because it's fake, because everything you do is fake. Go ahead.
Okay. Anyways,
so transparency is not very important on your channel.
Yeah, no, I would have done it for myself personally. But I'm also a firm believer in that not everything has to be recorded. For example, when I'm making love to a woman, I don't want to record that too, right? See, there you go. Yeah. So some things you leave off the channel, and that's
Rich, there are children watching this debate.
I'm sorry. Thank you. So as I was saying, I think that was an acceptable repair. It wasn't a pretty repair, but acceptable. The Audi R8 repair, when he used the jacks and the jack stands to kind of keep things into place before he welded it on, I will say that weld will probably last the lifetime of the car. I feel like all the other shady repairs that Sam did around the car will fall apart before that one. That he didn't do the welding either, so I think that helps too. So, to be fair, Sam didn't repair on that car anyway.
Time is up.
Thank you, Rich. Thank you. The next question is actually for you.
Okay,
Rich, you've opened high voltage battery packs with literal butter knives.
Mm-hmm.
You constantly weld wearing flip flops, which is not safe. And in one episode, you jump-started a Tesla that was underwater for about 10 days, not knowing what would happen if it would explode and possibly harm everyone in the surrounding area.
Right.
What would you say to the folks who say that you're spreading improper repair techniques, and even some who would go as far as to saying you're making it look too fun?
Okay. Well, the thing for me is that my channel is not an instructional channel. It is for entertainment purposes only, just like Sam's channel, except people aren't entertained. And I think
wrong.
What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to show people of the dangers of the things that you shouldn't do a lot of the time. So I'm taking that risk. And if anything were to happen to me on camera, that's for the public to know and to show all the children that, hey, listen, this guy put his life and livelihood at risk for us, and I am not going to repeat and make the same mistake. So I'm doing it for the children out there.
Interesting. Sam, what do you think?
For the children.
What do you think of Rich's repair technique, Sam?
Well, I think that his explanation just now, like you stated that basically what I told you about my repair techniques were 2 wrongs don't make a right. Mine was a much more masked 2 wrongs don't make a right, whereas Rich was blatantly just like, don't point your finger at me. What I would like to point out with Rich and his repair techniques, basically everything that Rich does is a list. I'd like to give you a list.
A list?
I'm going to give you a list.
Wow.
And it's just, and it's not I'm open to the way you repair your cars, Rich, but maybe not the way Carl or Chris or Chad or Steven or Linda or Mike or Guz or Lee repair your cars. You see, Rich might look like he does some work, but what I just listed was the tip of the iceberg of Rich's staff. You see, Rich actually has a staff on hand that repairs these cars in the inappropriate repair with using the inappropriate repair methods that he uses. And like I said, that's just the tip of the iceberg. We didn't get into Cam yet. And hopefully, Alex, I'll give you some time to bring up Cam. But
are you referring to the violation of child labor laws?
Yes, I am. I am Cam.
Next question, please.
Yes, we might have to move on to that shortly here because it is very important for the viewers. to understand at what level Rich is working. Okay, the next question is for both of you. I'm going to let Sam go first. YouTube has roughly 87 car channels focusing on rebuilding wrecked cars. It's quite a popular genre right now. One name that comes to mind is Goon Squad, a couple of young fellows out of Arkansas, I believe, who have taken the internet by storm with their upbeat personalities and completely wild builds. They also have more than double the subscribers of both of you, oddly enough.
Yeah, both of us combined, actually, yeah.
So my question is, what sets your channel aside? Why should viewers watch you? And Sam, being deep into your 40s, realistically, how long can you do this for?
Well, Alex, again, I would like to question your facts, talking about fact checkers, because I have a certificate of birth somewhere around here that wouldn't put me in my 40s. However,
if you'd like to prove that certificate of birth, we would be willing to accept it.
But no problem. We'll get it in a minute. Goon Squad have taken the internet by storm for a good reason, and like you said, they're authentic, they're upbeat. And I've had the opportunity of meeting them one time at the garage that they fix their cars, and they do a great job doing what they do. I think that the audience that is getting into this is that of a younger generation who's looking to create something kind of like the Goon Squad have in many different cases. They want to take a little bit of money and turn it into a dream of theirs, whether it be a Scion FRS or a Subaru WRX. And what I like about them is they started small. Now they're going big. And the reason why you would tune into my channel versus the Goon Squad is maybe you're like me and well into your 40s. No, I'm not in my 40s, but you know what I'm saying.
Got him.
And you could relate to someone who maybe does things really budget focused. I get why the Goon Squad do certain things that they do. I really respect how cutthroat they are, but there's just certain things I wouldn't do the same as them. And that's what sets us different apart.
Interesting. Rich, I will give you the same question. Why should people watch your channel?
I think in this YouTube space, there's room for all of us to eat. But I will say one thing. One of the reasons why I think more people are tuning in to Goon Squad versus Sam's channel, because one, he is very old. Number two, he actually gave them improper advice on how to fix a vehicle. In one of his videos, I remember Sam was in a video and he was like, and they were like, hey, how do I fix this? And Sam gave them the wrong advice, and I think potentially could have damaged one of their cars severely. And we've never seen Sam on that channel since. So
this is totally incorrect. This is an incorrect account. Rich was never there.
When Sam says that he was on, he met them once, and that was the last time they ever met. So either way, I think Goon Squad is great. Bunch of young, energetic kids, and the reason you would watch my channel, in addition to theirs, you could watch both. Is because one, I bring a different flavor to the channel. I have let's see, forced humor, sexual innuendos, and I think the fact that I am African American also brings a different side of things, because a lot of people, I will say one thing: there are not many people of POCs in the YouTube space.
Can you please clear that up for the viewers who don't understand?
I think there's a lot of there aren't a lot of people of color in the YouTube space, and I think people may tune into me because they say, "Hey, look at this guy. He looks like me. Let me see what he does," and then they watch one video and never return again. So I think that people tuning into the channel, they come for the humor, and they come for some EV stuff as well, because that's where I start. I do a lot of electrical and EV conversion stuff, and I think as of right now, I'm probably one of the larger channels that's doing that. So people come for a different aspect of things.
All right.
Well, Rich specifically called me out, so I'd like a 30-second rebuttal, please.
Okay, you may have it.
Yes. Basically, what Rich just said is that if you want to tune into the Goon Squad and watch two kids rebuilding a car, you can have that. And if you want to tune into his channel, you can watch one kid rebuilding his car.
Ooh. And that kid is
Cam. That's
no.
Okay.
That's off limit. That's off limit.
All right. We're moving on. This question goes to Sam. Sam, if you had one car that you have finished, and it had to be professionally inspected live on YouTube. Which car would you choose?
None.
I would tell you that I have more than one car that could be professionally inspected. Now, this is the only issue with this, Alex. So I don't own some of the cars that I have rebuilt in the past, but I'd be open to any of them that have been complete and have gone through a state rebuild inspection because they've already gone through an inspection, be inspected. So you could pick my pizza car. We'll call it the pizza car. You could also check out my Audi R8. Heck, I'd be happy to let you check out the green Ferrari and its floor patch. Any of them are all on limits. And the Lamborghini that you yourself put your hands on and you fix it up, would you be willing to say that you did a satisfactory repair on the car?
I'm nauseous already. I'm
already
nauseous.
100%.
So there are multiple cars in my fleet. You could take a pick of any one of them. I am equally confident in every single one of those cars because I still have them in my possession for anybody to inspect.
I'd like a 30-second rebuttal, please. Number one,
I didn't call you out, so you don't get any rebuttal, and I'll mute your microphone if you.
I just want to talk. Can I just talk for a minute?
No, I'm going to mute your microphone.
Actually, Rich, I was going to bring you into this question. Which one of Sam's cars would you have inspected live on YouTube to show off his work?
Okay, I'm like starting to get sick. So I rode in a few of Sam's cars, and Sam is correct that they were inspected, but Florida inspections are not up to any snuff at all. Like, they're very lax.
I'm talking about a professional inspection for the public to decide if it was not anything official like a certificate from the state. We all know those aren't worth much.
Okay, the best representation of Sam's work, I would say, is the RS7 that I purchased from him. And as you can see, I made another additional 5 videos from it fixing all of the things that I found with the vehicle. So I would say the RS7's up there somewhere.
And Rich, I thank you. That leads me to my next question for Sam.
Well, he called me out in particular. He called me out. I get a 30-second rebuttal.
30 seconds.
And that rebuttal would be, like I said, I make mistakes. I don't hide them like you admitted to a few minutes ago in your channel.
I never said
RS7 was one of the first cars, and it was really the first expensive car I ever bought from salvage auction. And I trusted the wrong hands to do the major repairs. That is on me. I'll take the blame for it. And I just kind of gave it to you for a really cheap price, in which you still haven't paid me for yet. So
okay. We'll stop right there.
I was getting personal. That's a personal attack.
Rich, I will be getting to you in 2 questions. I do want to do a follow-up on the Audi for Sam. Sam, you sold Rich your Audi RS7. What is the worst part of the car that you didn't disclose to Rich?
That I didn't disclose. Well, Rich saw the car in person before he said he was going to pay for it.
Right.
I told him that there's a check engine light on. I told him that there is the floor issues visually. I don't think there's anything here's what I would say. Stuff that just totally I didn't look at, like the air intake box. His friend, who claims to be a professional mechanic, who said a lot of crazy things in the video, because I've owned the car and driven enough times to know that a lot of the things that he said are incorrect. Like, you can't drive this car without the engine cover off. You're going to blow holes in the hood. Well, I've driven it hard multiple miles with the engine cover off, and the hood is still intact, as you know, Rich. I would say things like, if there was some frog droppings or some pet fur or something, not pet, but like animal fur, hopefully no pets, in the engine bay intakes or things like that, maybe I overlooked that before sending it Rich's way.
Hey guys, your time is up.
Thanks, Chris.
All right. Can I respond to that real quick?
Yes, go ahead, Rich.
I'm going to give Sam credit. I did look the car over, and everything that Sam said about the car was correct. The only thing is the title. I didn't get the title till much later. Okay. Unfortunately, after Sam sold me the vehicle, I got the title much later, and that led into some legal hot water, which we'll take offline.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
We don't need to take it offline. Alex, ask us another question about the title.
We can do it right here.
Who's the lien holder on the title, Rich?
Jeez. Go ahead, Rich. You have
Sam, I compensated Sam for that vehicle in full, and Sam did sign the title over to me, and I am the legal holder of that vehicle.
Now, my fact checkers had found evidence, Rich, that you had financed the car from Sam for 96 months at a 16%.
96 months.
Rate. Is that true? And is your credit score really a 386?
Listen, well, I don't have to answer any of those questions, but the question I will answer a part of that question is that I did pay Sam in full for the Audi RS7. All right, I wired money to Sam.
Was it for Western Union by any chance?
I think it was. I think it was in a few easy payments.
Okay.
And Sam was compensated for that vehicle.
Yeah. Okay. Sam, can you verify any of this?
It's all untrue. I never got a dime. Next question, please.
Yeah. All right. Come on. Whatever.
All right.
I got a free car. I don't care. It's my car now. I'm not paying you a dime for that. I'll tell you right now, I'm not paying Sam anything for that car. See, now I'm upset.
Next question for Sam. Money is no object. What other channel's car rebuild project would you like to take over from now on? Something that they're working on right now that you believe you could do a better job at?
Ooh, okay. It's a good one. V-Tune Garage is one of the hardest working guys I know. He's a great body man, but something I've said a lot, but not a lot on YouTube, is that body men are great body men, but a lot of times they're not great mechanics. So V-Tune, I'd like to take over your Mustang conversion. I think you would, in the current state the car that it's in, you leave me with a really good foundation to work off of. But we all know you're not finishing that car the way it sits right now.
Okay, so on the record, you do not believe that V-Tune has the mechanical capabilities to finish this project, and you would be a better candidate.
I don't think I'd word it to him like that, but absolutely that's what I'm saying.
Well, you are live in front of hundreds.
I just said that. That's what I'm saying to you. He's probably not watching, so we're all right.
Okay, indeed he is. But Rick, same question goes to you. If you had to take over another rebuilder's current project because you don't think they're doing an adequate job, what would it be?
Any of Sam's cars.
Okay.
Any and all of them. Every single one he's working on right. Whether the BMW or the Soarer. The poor Toyota Soarer's been sitting in a field rotting for so long. There's so many unloved cars that Sam has. I'd love to take them. The RS7 was one. When I saw that car and how the state it was kept in, I had to take it home. And my new promise is that every time I visit Sam, I'm probably going to take one of his cars home.
That is bearing that you pay me for the last one. And since Rich did call me out my cars, I just would like to give a 15-second rebuttal and say I didn't pick any one of Rich's cars because none of them are actually complete. If you want proof of that, peel off the wrap on his BMW i8 and see what color it is underneath.
No.
Wow.
Okay. All right. Well. Okay. Couple of things. Number one, I'm not paying Sam for the RS7. I'm just not paying you. So whatever. The BMW is a gorgeous car. All right. And I showed people. I said, listen, in order to save some money, just like you did with the panel bonding on the floor of the Ferrari, I said I am not going to paint the hood, but I will disclose that when I sell the vehicle. But for my personal vehicle, I don't think it's that big of a deal. And again, I'm not paying for the RS7. So sorry. Go ahead. Next question.
All right. Next question is for you, Rich. And I'll give Sam a chance to respond. According to my fact checkers, 98.7% of climate scientists in one study agree that man-made climate change is real. Yet you've switched to pretty much only working on gas and now diesel vehicles. As you bought recently a diesel pickup truck. You ditched your Tesla as a daily driver. Some highly respected politicians have given us only 10 years to live if we continue down.
10 years? Where's that? Hey, where's the fact in that? 10 years.
It's a fact. Okay.
Huh.
Will you tonight commit to reducing your carbon footprint and how?
Yeah. All right. So I did buy a diesel truck. Okay. But I would argue that diesel is a cleaner burning fuel than gasoline. So that is my small way of saving the environment. Okay. I do not drive this diesel truck every day. All right. I only use it for heavy pulling purposes, like pulling Sam's RS7 around that I am not going to pay him for. And currently there is no electric truck that's in the market right now that I could use to haul things around. But for the most part, because I work from home, my carbon footprint is very small. And I also live in a very small home. So that's a very small footprint, unlike Sam, who has a 10,000 square foot compound and multiple cars sitting in fields, dripping oil and fluid into grass where cows graze, killing thousands of animals per year, destroying ecosystems, and hurting the environment. So yeah, my vow is to have a very small carbon footprint and live a very simple life.
Okay. I wouldn't exactly call that any policy prescriptions, but Sam, I will give you the same question. How do you plan on reducing your carbon footprint, especially being someone who doesn't own any electric vehicles whatsoever? And in fact, you also drive a gigantic pickup truck that is polluting.
Yes. And thank you for this question, Alex, because as you saw, Rich, who completely just dodged it with political nonsense, I'm going to tell you exactly how I'm going to reduce my emissions and how I've already started. My pickup truck is a perfect example of a vehicle that runs on flex fuel, also known as ethanol. It burns very clean. And I run it purely on ethanol. I've never filled up
God, I'm getting
with
sick.
Unleaded fuel.
Gosh. The lights are dimming. He's lying. He's lying.
I've also teamed up with Eurocharged in Orlando. We're going to get flex fuel tunes for every single one of my cars, be it the Ferrari, the Lamborghini, the Audi R8, the other Ferraris, the other Lamborghinis. And then the compound that Rich referred to, which is a sustainable energy compound using solar and wind energy. We have wind turbines and solar panels pretty much on every roof of every structure here. We are regenerating power and sending it back to the power company through Tesla Powerwalls. So we started this. We are going forward with this program here locally, and I'm very concerned about the environment. So I thank you for that. And I actually started contributing a long time ago, unlike, again, my opponent over here.
Yeah, Sam doesn't own one wind turbine. He's only seen them on TV. I know it for a fact.
Yes, that is not verified whatsoever.
I have seen a wind turbine in person, though. I have seen one in person.
I've been to Sam's home, and it's nothing like that.
Okay, I will check with my fact checkers, of course, and we will get back to the public on whether or not Sam has
an oil rig in his backyard.
Well, now, as the moderator, is it your job to question the truths of the debaters here?
Well, actually, yes, it is. Now in 2020, okay. I do have to verify that what you are saying is indeed factual and not fake news. Yep. And quite honestly, I would appreciate if you guys would stick to the facts in this video and not defer to anything that is not constructive. So at this point in time, I'd like to go to the audience for some questions. I had seen a few a while back on the Focus RS. Now, this is a car that Sam had on his rebuild channel, and it was really not exactly finished. And the question would be, Sam, did you finish the RS? And is that, and then a follow-up for myself, if you did, is that a car that you would let a family member use on a daily basis?
To answer the second question first, absolutely. Now, first, the way it was fixed, again, this was early on in my rebuild, let's call it career. Bought a car, trusted a shop to repair it correctly, and I think they did a horrible job. I thought they did such a bad job. I brought it to my friend V-Tune, who I've called the most skilled body man, specifically frame man in the United States. He reinforced the front frame rails and repaired them properly. The car was completely rebuilt, albeit not in a very timely fashion. Took me a long time, mainly because I got distracted with other projects. But it frustrated me looking at that car, knowing I had made a mistake not finishing it. So I went earlier this year. There's a complete video from beginning all the way to end, even showing the mistakes that I made, bringing it to another shop to do the work and not bringing it to V-Tune in the first place. So it is complete, and I would absolutely let one of my family members drive in it. And if I had a child, I'd let them drive in it in the back seat, in a baby seat, of course, because that's the law.
Okay, and Rich, a few years back, you had a P85D Tesla on your channel. We haven't seen it, I don't think, in multiple years now. So what is the status of that car? Will it be completed?
Well, a couple things. So because I'm a good friend, when Sam called me and said he purchased a Tesla, and I had that car in mid progress. I made very good progress on it, and Samson needed parts, and I sacrificed the parts on that car to give to my good friend Sam, because again, I am a good person, and I am kind. So I gave him those parts to fix his car, and since then it's been sitting in a state of disarray for some time now, and I plan on picking that project back up shortly.
Okay, excellent, excellent. We Sam, we have another question for you. It has to do with your Range Rover, the black one that Rich destroyed the bumper on, or watched as the. I'm sorry,
I don't remember that. I don't remember that.
Watched as the bumper was destroyed.
Yes.
A couple questions on that. First off, do you blame Rich for the destruction of that front bumper? And second question is, does that vehicle currently run and drive?
So if you watch the video footage, it's pretty clear. Rich, you stood by, you laughed, and you could have saved a Range Rover front end if you would have intervened. If you would have told the truck driver, hey, don't tell him to do what he's doing, or just yelled out to me, the windows were open. But you stood by, you haven't, and to your credit, you did catch it on camera, which made for a really great clip that I've watched probably about 400 times at this point.
Very good. Very
I
good.
still think it's funny.
Very entertaining.
And before that, I remember it like it was yesterday. We were standing outside, and you go, "Give me that camera. I'm gonna record this."
Yeah.
So, I will give you credit where credit is due. Is the car currently running and driving? It absolutely runs and drives. Just for a few minutes before it doesn't anymore. But that doesn't mean it wouldn't run and drive. And an auction would constitute that as a running and driving car.
Okay. Excellent. Excellent.
Right. Well,
a question from the viewer. From a viewer would be, what if you were to start in the rebuilding game right now? What would be the easiest car to rebuild? Rich, go for it.
Gosh, the easiest car to rebuild.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a difference between easy and desirable. The easiest car to rebuild is a very popular car like a Mustang, a Honda Civic. Cars like that are super easy, cheap to find parts for, but quite frankly, no one will watch that video. No one's gonna watch that video.
Not true.
Rebuilding a Civic, no, it's been done a million times, in my opinion. But to start off, something sporty, two-door Civic, a little Mustang, something like that, maybe a BRZ. That'd be a really easy and inexpensive way to get into rebuilding your first car, I think.
Okay. Sam, what do you think?
I like Mustang a lot, specifically because there are so many people with Mustangs. The Mustang community is so large. And I like that you can go on Mustang forums and purchase parts off of GT cars, off of Shelby cars, all these guys that are constantly upgrading. And they're upgrading everything from performance parts to suspension components to body panels. You can buy stock parts for literally nothing. People want to get them out of their garage. The Ford Mustang is my number one car for the easiest rebuild. And you say nobody would watch it. I think you're wrong. And if you want to go back to an earlier conversation, the Goon Squad had a very successful Mustang rebuild. And I think, again, it's probably hands down the best. And you say easy, it's the easiest and cheapest to source parts from. But most modern cars are going to have high-strength steel frames. So if you really want to go easy on the labor side, go with an older car, early 2000s, late 90s, with a regular steel structure. Much more easy to move in and out. And, again, the parts are going to be plentiful.
All right. Another question from a viewer. Can the public walk around auctions like you guys do in some of your videos?
I'll let Rich answer this because he's bought by Big Salvage. Go ahead, Rich.
Interesting.
All right, a couple of things. I question how Sam knows that. Number two, to be fair, to kind of just a little twist to the last answer, Goon Squad did rebuild a GT500, which is a very desirable Mustang and also very expensive. So that may not be the best one to start off with. So number two, typically people can't really get into the auctions to walk around. You really have to be a very special member of that auction company like Sam is. When I've gone with Sam, he's brought me along with him because he's in the deep pockets of several auction companies at the moment.
That is completely false. And
you
had a technical and correct statement. Goon Squad rebuilt a Mustang GT with a base package, so the most entry-level V8 Mustang you could buy. Anyway, can you walk around the auctions? The answer is absolutely yes. At one branch of the auction, I'm not sure which one Rich is talking about. You have to have an account. Counts are generally free, but the auctions that Rich are bought for and paid by and all that. And Rich, you asked how I know that. It's because in every single video you specifically mention and link an auction. Just go back and look at Rich's history. It's quite open. Okay. Anyway, I'm not sure what their policy is. I would tell you that Rich does get 100% special privilege at the auction because of his ties. And we all know who Big Salvage is influenced heavily by, and that's the Ukrainians as well, and Rich is tight with them. So I'd maybe bring something like that up, Alex, instead of these softball questions.
Okay,
I don't think my Ukrainian ties has anything to do with this conversation, number one.
Speaking of
my ties to the Ukraine are private and confidential. Number two, they did purchase a GT Mustang, but I think they did a conversion to a GT 500. I'm just saying, a parent's package, things that are still expensive. I'm just saying.
Okay. My next question is for Rich. Rich, in early 2020, during the pandemic, mind you, you were at a very, very large gathering in Florida for a car show at the Amelia Island expose. And at that show, another YouTuber by the name of Tavarish had shushed you away as you attempted to talk to him, likely to ask if maybe you could be on his channel or something along those lines. Do you hold any negative feelings towards Tavarish at this point for ignoring you? And what is a message you would like to send to him?
Okay, number one, I am not mad at Tavarish for shushing that person away because it was not, in fact, me. 98% of the internet thinks it's me because it was another African American on a YouTube channel. So therefore,
were you at the Amelia Island Concourse car show?
I was, but that was not me.
Oh, and how many other African Americans were at that show, Rick?
Probably two.
Okay.
Me and one other person. All right, but the person he shushed away was not, in fact, me.
Okay.
Everyone thinks it was me. That person had hair. I don't have any hair. I have a peanut-shaped head, and I do not. That was not me. That person had a full head of hair, and I don't have any hair. That was not, in fact, me.
Sam, you've taken part in spreading this
absolutely
according to Rich, incorrect information. What is your take? What happened that day in your
Alex, I have a hard time believing this is any sort of misinformation. I'm going to tell you why. And I'm going to ask the audience a question. Are you familiar with the name David Long? Are you familiar with the name Car Wizard? Is he a trustworthy person?
Yes, he is.
So if you can answer that question, the moderator has an opinion. Good to know. Anyway, David Long is the one who pointed to this gentleman in question and said, "There goes Rich Rebuilds." Seconds later, this man who's in question, who a very trustworthy source, David Long, called Rich Rebuilds, walks up to Tavarish and clearly harasses him in the middle of a conversation with some other YouTubers. Again, who knows what Rich or this mystery gentleman was asking for. But I don't want to get into the side. Rich has brought race into this conversation, and that's not for me to discuss. But I'm just stating the facts. If you go and look at the clips, David Long, if you know the Car Wizard, you know he's a very trustworthy individual, and he pointed to this man and said, "There goes Rich Rebuilds."
Okay. Couple things. Well, number one, this Car Wizard person, David Long, you bring up, he is a gentleman that wears glasses. Okay. And at that moment, did he have his glasses on? We don't know. Is his prescription up to date? We don't know. And a lot of these unfortunate events happen in succession to make myself look bad, which, again, that was not me. Again, like anyone could, I mean, Tavarish knows it wasn't me. The Car Wizard knows it wasn't me. They were all there. Sam, you were there too.
You just said that the Car Wizard knows it wasn't you. He clearly pointed to you and said it was you.
Everyone makes mistakes, Sam. There was a case of mistaken identity, which is fine, which is understandable. You know, people may assume you are Adam Sandler, which you are not. People have said it in the past.
Roughly the same age.
Roughly the same age. Probably the same size house. And yeah, I mean that's really that's I'm gonna stick with that. That was not
Okay.
me, the event.
Fair
And,
enough.
I respect people that make mistakes and own up to them, and I am waiting for his response to me and an apology. I want an apology from the Car Wizard right now.
And Sam, when Rich was pushed aside by Tavares, how do you think he felt?
Well, you know what? He might have felt however he felt, but it was justified because he was interrupting a very important meeting with a very high-profile person at a very exclusive car event.
Yeah,
Okay.
I felt fine because it wasn't me.
All right.
I don't even think Rich was allowed in the car event. I think he snuck around the back gate.
Yeah, well,
Okay,
yeah, I mean, I wanted to be a part of the event, and they wouldn't let me in, so I forced my way in.
Here it is. He just admitted it. It was him.
No, but that wasn't me that got kicked out. That was a separate occasion. That was different.
Okay.
Guys, your time is up.
Yeah,
Hey guys, your time is up. Hey guys, your time.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Chris. We have Chris Fix in the studio here in case you go over your time. So my next question is going to be for the both of you. I will let Rich lead on this one. Rich, who is your favorite automotive? What's your favorite automotive channel in general besides Legit Streetcars out of Chicago?
Oh my gosh! You know what's weird? I actually enjoy watching. You're gonna judge me, and I don't care if I'm judged or not. I enjoy. Can I name 2 channels or just
Sure.
one? Just one.
2 is fine.
I enjoy Whistling Diesel.
Okay.
I do. Yeah.
Sam,
What's that look for?
Whoa! I'm the moderator here, please, Rich.
Yeah. I recently came onto his channel because I purchased a diesel truck myself, and I was doing some searching online for diesel truck channels, and his was very entertaining.
Okay. Did you learn anything from watching his videos?
I didn't learn anything.
Nothing.
But I was very entertained.
Gotcha. Sam, you said 2 channels, right?
I would say that, and I do enjoy watching Goon Squad. I do.
Okay. Would it be safe to say you aspire to be as big of a channel as a Whistling Diesel or a Goon Squad? When you get a little bit older and more experienced.
I don't want to get that large because I believe that kind of fame will get to my head, and I want to remain humble.
Okay, just to that, I'd like to point out to the audience that in your last video, you did show a magazine in which you were featured in, and you threw it into a box. And would you say that is something a humble person would do?
That was a random magazine I picked off the shelf.
And you were in it, right?
I just happened to be in it.
Yeah, I don't think it was him. I think it was the guy that was at the car show.
I'm in several magazines. Several.
That wasn't him. It was the guy at the car show. Different guy.
Several publications. So it's hard when I reach on my shelf that I'm not in one because there's so many that I am in. So go ahead.
Okay. One of my fact checkers just let me know you have mentioned you were on Joe Rogan 48 times in 2020. Does that sound about right?
Maybe.
Okay. All right. Cool. Moving on. Sam, I would like to offer you the same question. What is your favorite automotive channel besides Legit Streetcars?
Well, that's a tough one because you just eliminated definitely, hands down, my favorite channel, Legit Streetcars. However, I will do the Rich game, and I will tell you 2 channels that I really look forward to watching new videos on. I like the educational side of things, and that's where VTune comes in. If you kind of watch what he's doing on a visual basis, it's very entertaining, but you can pick up skills watching him. The other one that is very entertaining, but also a hardworking guy and a great character is Weston Champlin. And if you want to watch a real diesel channel, I highly suggest you check him out.
What does that mean, real diesel channel?
Like a guy that actually can work on and actually does real diesel things, not someone who is destructive. And
I mean, some people want to be entertained, and I mean, you don't have to always learn. Like, for example, Sam, I've heard that you listen to a lot of trap music. They're very filthy music, lots of dirty words, and that's not educational. That's not good as a family man.
I don't know who told you that, because that's completely false.
I've been in your vehicles before, and you've listened to that music.
I think your phone was plugged into my vehicle.
No, Christian Bible rock, all the way.
Sam, if you had to collaborate with another rebuild channel outside of VTuned, he's been with you a few times rebuilding many of your cars, what channel would it be? Who would you like to?
Yeah, easy. Weston, he thinks outside of the box. He's got cool projects, and I don't know too much about diesels. I think he could diesel power a Ferrari, and it would make for a heck of a project.
Okay. So maybe one day we'll see a Sam and Weston and Rich.
So if you see what Sam was doing, he's pandering to VTuned, who helps him tremendously, and he wants Weston helping one of his other. He's going to get a diesel too. Sam will get a diesel. I know he's going to. Sam's going to get a diesel. He's going to reach out to Weston, and he's going to help him too. So what Sam is doing, he's setting things up. He's getting the ball rolling, like in motion, for others to help him with his vehicle. That's what he's doing.
I see.
Does anyone else see that? Am I crazy?
You're 100% crazy, and if you talk any longer, I'm going to mute your microphone.
No, what I see.
Because I paid for the streaming service.
Sam has too much power. Sam has too much power. Why should he be able to mute me?
That is fake news. Sam does not have the ability. We only have.
Rich is muted. Rich, try and talk right now. Look.
Only have.
Talk. He sees muted. It's not fake news, Alex. It's not fake news.
That was.
I was just proving a point.
He's an abusive of power. That's an abuse. That's flexing his power.
I think that was
biased.
We only have Chris Fix in the studio to tell you guys that your time limit is up.
Hey guys, your time is up.
As you can clearly see, your time is up. Do any of you guys have nice cars like Stradman? I just read that right from the content from the comments. Rich?
Is that the question?
What is
that is the question.
Alex, of all the questions you could have chosen, you chose. Okay. So you go first, Sam, because you have so much power. You'll probably mute me anyways. You go first.
No, I mean, the answer is easy. No, I don't have nice cars like Stradman. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't have any. I think my most expensive car isn't worth any of what Stradman's cars are worth. Even his cheapest one. Even his Jeep probably not worth that much. So no, I don't have nice cars like Stradman. Okay. However, Sam, you have a purple Lambo. That's pretty damn close to Stradman. To be fair.
And as a follow-up to that, Sam, is it true that you copied the exact same purple that Stradman uses in order to attract more viewers through clickbait thumbnails?
Well,
you're actually right.
That's a great question. And, someone's got to ask someone the hard questions here, so I appreciate it, Alex.
Are you insinuating something here?
No, I'm not. I'm just going to tell you the answer is no. Mine is a Pearl Viola Parsivet purple. It's a Lamborghini color. First, I believe it was painted on the Huracan Performante, later on the SVJ. So color that wasn't available my year, Gallardo. I thought it would look cool. It sure came out looking incredible. Mancuso Collision and Custom, I think best paint and body repair facility in the country.
Phenomenal.
And no, Stradman's purple is more of a satin finish. It's a wrap as well, much cheaper than the job that was performed on my Lamborghini. Now, I'm not calling out Stradman for doing anything cheap because obviously he's got nice cars, but a wrap doesn't compare to paint. And I'll be honest, I know how much Rich spent on the wrap on his old Tesla. I know how much Rich spent on the wrap of his BMW i8. Rich, I will mute your microphone, damn it.
There's nothing to do with anything.
And I would just tell you that when it comes down to it, people considering a wrap when it's several thousands of dollars, maybe you call Mancuso and ask how much a good paint job is.
Yeah.
Okay. We have another question here for Rich. Rich, where exactly are you broadcasting from? And has anyone ever been locked away in a closet wherever you are there?
I don't have to answer that question where I am right now.
Okay.
It's classified.
It's a little suspect. It's almost like you're hiding out for a few days.
I would just like to make a note of how many times Rich has deflected a question during this debate. I've answered every single one of them. Rich, on the other hand, has deflected time and time again. That's the sort of stuff you can expect. And we all want to remember Rich's origins. He's not really Rich Rebuilds. He's a car guru, supposedly. Yeah, and got taken down.
It was sealed, and that name can't be brought up again. You may get sued, Sam. So
okay, I'm just letting you know.
On record.
The origins. Look up the origins. It's very important to this man's history and whether he's telling the truth or not.
Rich, is it true that you did not have any automotive experience before starting your channel?
None whatsoever.
None. Okay.
I learned everything I know from watching Sam build
Mhm.
his cars. And actually, you know what's funny? I will say, what before I got big into YouTube or bigger into YouTube, I did watch Sam and Sam, B is for Build, Tavarish, and Chrisfix. Those are the channels that I watched.
Sam, we know you were a big fan of Cletus McFarlane early on in your career. Are there any other channels that you that inspired you to kick off your rebuilding channel?
Absolutely, yeah. Chris Fix is a huge inspiration. Chris is the reason why I even know how to do like some really elementary and some moderately hard things, because he's got great videos showing how these are done. So Chris Fix is a huge inspiration. I will tell you that the first salvage car I bought was specifically because of a video on his channel where he showed a company that assisted you in buying salvage cars. That company is no longer in business anymore. It's a funny story. But I do think it's important to point out.
Why are businesses going under funny to you, Sam?
No, this business needed to go under. They were dishonest. And they weren't honest. I've dealt with them on a firsthand basis multiple times, and I feel like people that aren't honest to their customers or clients.
They have families. They have people that are impacted.
Yeah, but if you're screwing people, you shouldn't. There's other companies you can do business with, and I don't wish any ill harm on them. Anyway, Rich, it's kind of funny how we linked up. Go ahead.
Yeah, I do have a question on that. How did you two meet?
Yeah, that's actually a really good story. I'm glad that you're asking, because Sam sent me a very, very nasty email. What did he say to me again? You said it's very like a random email saying, "Hey man, like whatever, your content's garbage." Da 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 da. And I was like, "Wow!" And I wrote back to him. And I was like, very nice. I said, "Hey, you know what? Thank you, Sam. Like, I think your content's great. Like, keep on going. Like, you keep keeping on." And we met via email, and then after that, it's been downhill since there.
Yeah, that's basically exactly how it didn't go. I wrote a comment on Rich's channel on one of these videos where he faked a Tesla on fire or something of the sort, and got published on Jalopnik for it by lying to people like he typically does. This is a man who has a career fooling people into giving him free press. Okay. But anyway, I went and I commented on his video, and I'm going to be honest, it was a very salty comment. Like, who in the hell does this guy think he is?
Very salty.
Tricking his audience. But his response was so positive and so kind in return. I had to change my mindset. This is the true part of the story. I think Rich, if he wants to, can verify this. And got on a phone call, and it turns out he's a half decent guy. But his team of people, Carl, Chris, Chad, Steven, Linda, Mike Gusley, and Cam, those are the ones you got to watch out.
We can't talk about Cam. Cam's very.
I just did.
That's still a big deal. It's still a big deal.
Where's your laptop, Rich?
With my laptop?
Yeah, where's your laptop?
It's on my knees right now in my in my location.
Is that the replacement one for the one that didn't the FBI raid the other one?
I have
because of your ties to big salvage, Rich.
I have
be honest to the audience.
That is not been
I have multiple laptops, so I mean whatever I use is up to me.
Gentlemen, we're gonna end this with one last question. Will there ever be a collaboration between you two and LegitStreetCars on a challenge, some kind of car challenge? Similar, many have asked if it would be similar to Car Trek, and when and if you guys may do something like that.
Go ahead, Rich.
Go ahead, Rich.
The answer is yes. Okay. So Sam, Alex, and myself have been in talks about a potential show between the three of us. But the challenge was we didn't want to make it too similar to other shows that are currently being published right now, and that's our biggest thing. We don't want to come up with a show and then it's a ripoff of other big YouTube shows like Car Trek, 1, 2, and the upcoming 3. So we're still thinking of challenges right now and how we can get the three of us together to do something collaborative. Again,
with the false information, I believe the big challenge is Rich just being able to make it to a central location. I mean, he couldn't even make it to this debate on time. That's the whole reason why we started late here. And so the challenges have been discussed. The underpinnings of this are in the makes, and it's a matter of Rich just showing up.
Yeah,
Okay,
well,
to be fair, Rich, I was the only one that bought a car for when we attempted this a few months
No,
ago.
that's not true. Untrue. I had a car sitting where? You saw it in person outside of Chicago, Illinois.
We all know
Miles.
that car would have been destroyed in this competition, Sam.
I don't care. I bought a car, and now it's rotting in a field.
and
Yes, it is.
like your other cars. So, like, honestly, in my defense, I did purchase a vehicle, and then Alex did go over the vehicle. It wasn't.
Oh, you did. We all purchased a car. We just couldn't show up. It was you, Rich. It was you.
Due to unforeseen circumstances, I could not travel outside of my immediate area, and whatever. One thing led
How
to
much
another.
misinformation has come from Alex in this debate? That's what I'm wondering. We all purchased a car, Alex.
Oh, well, I know I had purchased a car. Rich had purchased a car. Sam, if
You
wanna-
saw my car
I
at
saw
a specific
car-
facility.
I saw a car that you bought, and that happened to be in Chicago. But
And it was an excellent car.
a naturally aspirated Volkswagen versus an SRT8 with a
The
V8.
SRT8 didn't even run.
Well,
So if you think about it,
if it
my
did,
car's already a winner.
We don't have to
and-
continue to bring that up, Sam. We know
and
that my
the car I was bringing to the table had a supercharged V8, so I don't think that was a real serious car, Sam.
And your supercharged V8 was in a gigantic car. You know, a naturally aspirated Volkswagen made naturally aspirated 8 and 12 cylinder cars. So it's possible I had one of those for the audience that's listening. But in order to find out, you're going to have to tune into the channel. It'll be coming within the next week or so.
Yes. All right. Excellent. Excellent. All right,
All
gentlemen.
because Rich couldn't show up. Yeah. Thank you, Rich.
Okay. Well, I have a life outside of YouTube, and again, due to unforeseen circumstances, I cannot travel outside
Here we go with the
of.
dodging.
I can't travel outside of my immediate area,
Time is up.
and I've explained that to you
Hey,
multiple
guys,
times.
your
So.
time is up.
All right.
guys.
Thank you, Chris. All right, guys, your time is up. All right, and that concludes today's great rebuild debate. I would like to thank everybody out there for joining us this afternoon. Please comment down below who you think won this debate and when we should have a second. Thank you very, very much and important. And remember, it's not a rebuild unless it's partially finished on YouTube. Thanks a lot.